Hey y'all, and welcome to Stivers Homestead. I'm Zach, and this is Barn Chat. So in Barn Chat, we talk about a lot of hot topics, different stuff that's going on in the world, stuff that's going on in our lives, stuff that's going on in general. We really kind of touch on about anything that's kind of going on or things that have been weighing on our mind throughout the week. In here, it's encouragement. It's trying to show a problem that we all may be facing, trying to offer solutions that may help get people through these problems that we're facing, and it's completely open-minded. It's one of those, these are the opinions of just myself, and anything else is just open discussion. I don't have the jurisdiction to say anything I'm saying is fact because we all have our own opinions. It's just like that other thing we all have. We all have them, and it's okay to have one. So the biggest thing from here is I hope you find encouragement and motivation as you end this video to tackle one more thing. Our big motto around here is do something, one more, do something. Don't just sit there and watch. Don't just sit there and sulk in it. Don't just sit there and get mad. Do something. Do one thing each day to do a little bit more than you did the previous day, to do better within whatever it is that you're doing in your life. So today is a big one. It's one that is very personal. It's extremely personal, but it's something that we like to open up a lot about with you all because we know it's something that goes on every day. And it's something that we're seeing more and more of, unfortunately, with a lot of our friends. And a lot of people just that we know through YouTube and stuff, and it's happening everywhere. Divorce. Yeah. The big D. I'm not talking about Dallas. Who's that singing that song? Is that Mark Chestnut? Going through the big D and don't mean Dallas. It's a fun song. It's divorce is one of those things that there's a lot of 90s country songs, like 80s and 90s country songs that's making light of it and having jokes. Jay Lewis sung one. That was a funny one. But, you know, it seems like there are trends of divorce. I'm about to get into our story, so maybe someone can relate to that. However, divorce isn't something that should be made light of. I know a lot of times when people are going through that, it's a coping mechanism, which is totally understandable to make light of it. But unfortunately, it's an ending of something sacred. It's an ending of something that was love. It's an ending of love. You add children to the mix, that makes it even more difficult for the children. You know, it's kind of setting them up to understand what two households looks like, and you know, potentially having them grow up and think that this is okay and regular. And it's tough. It's tough. So let me start by saying, I know there are situations of abuse, there's situations of molestation, there's situations of just really awful things that happen in marriages, and rightfully so, to get out of those marriages. So I want to acknowledge that I know that side is there. This conversation is going to be more on the lines of actual love, of actual topics and things that are causing divorce that could potentially be worked through. So please have that in mind as you're going through this. If you're in one of those situations, know that I'm praying for you. I know you'll get through it, have loved ones around you, be powerful. But that is understandable. What I'm getting at here specifically is around topics and situations and life occurrences that cause divorce quickly. So our story. Jen, her parents, they were divorced, remarried, both, you know, very normal situation. My parents never married, however, it didn't go for the long term. So both of us grew up in kind of that two household situation, as I'm sure a lot of you all did. When we got married in 2013, there was, you know, it was complete love. Complete love. We're 10 years in now, and it was nothing but perfect. It was perfection. Until one moment about, I think it was like 2018. About 2018 when this happened, we were headed for divorce. And it was a very, very scary moment. So I talk a lot about the things that Jen expressed to me that she wanted when we were dating. Homeschool mama, wanted to homestead, wanted to have a big family, wanted to do all these different things. And I was all on board, completely on board with all of it. We got married, you know, like I told y'all before, we were 6 months pregnant when we got married. So we fast tracked a lot of this stuff. We had Wyatt in 2013 as well. So we got married and had our first child all in the same year. And quickly after that, we had Raylan. They're, I think, 27 months apart, so just a little over 2 years apart. And then from there, it was job, it was trying to figure out what we was going to do for the rest of our lives. It was the house. You know, we were building the pole barn. We got shipped to North Carolina for 9 months. We came back to try to finish our house. We didn't have running water. You know, we were doing it the off-grid style life. And it was a lot of chaos that was going on. But we realized that if we're going to have more children, like, we need to be making that happen during this chaos, because we have 2, we're going to start getting older, and time's ticking. Rightfully so. So Jen approaches me to start having the conversation about having a 3rd child. At the time, I basically just completely blocked it. I blocked that, just basically conversation. I told her, I said, you know, we're building our pole barn house. Let's focus on it. Once we get running water, then we'll bring it back up. I really regret that decision that day because of where we stand today. However, at the time, it felt like the right decision to make. Well, we get running water about a year later or so. We had water. It's just, it wasn't piped. We were doing it off-grid. We had a tank, and we were doing different. It doesn't matter. It's just, we didn't have, you couldn't turn the faucet on and off, right? And I was like, with the baby, I want to be able to have that and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Now, at this age, wouldn't be fine. But at that young age, I guess it just was in my head. I don't know. I wasn't fully eclipsed into this life just yet, as I am now. Well, we get running water, and I don't even really remember why, but I did. I guess I was just comfortable with the life we had, and I was nervous about what a 3rd child would do. I don't know. It put a void in our marriage, a really, really tough one, and I completely understand it. I shut down us having more kids, and it's still impacting us today, because, as y'all know, we still only have 2 children. We had several nights we didn't talk. We were young, we were angry, we were angry at each other, and it really felt like divorce was coming. But I'm so happy that we both have the same mindset of divorce isn't an option, and that we were able to get through that. But it was tough. Like, so tough that you almost get to the point where you're thinking of what is the next steps if you do get divorced. Like, where are you gonna live? How's it gonna be with our children? Like, you get almost to that mindset, and it's terrible. It's frightening. You don't want to talk. You don't want to think about it, but you're trying to potentially prepare for all scenarios. But then some flipped. It's like, once my mind changed and I wasn't starting to like, well, I've done it now. You know, like, this is divorce. I'm starting to plan this stuff out. Once you stop thinking about, like, what would you do if you got divorced, then you start thinking about how can we get through this? How can we work through this together? Because I do want to stay married. I want to be married because I love my wife and she loves me. We're just going through something right now. A blimp on the radar of the entirety of our marriage. That's when my light bulb came off, is when I realized this is such a small blimp in the amount of years that we're going to be together. And I know that we can work through this. So I tackled the problem at hand. What is the problem? The problem was pretty clear in this scenario, is she wanted more children. I was not ready. Something flipped. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just, I don't know what overcame me, but I turned ready. But we had gotten through the anger before I made that decision. And that's a key component, because I want to make it clear, like, I didn't just decide that I was ready and then we got better. Like, it wasn't like there was a problem, I gave it to her, and then we were good. That's not what it was. We talked through it, and communication helped us get through there. So there was no more of those quiet nights. There was no more of those silent nights. I'm a big believer on, if you're not going to bed together and, like, one starts staying up more and separate at nighttime, like, that's a big flag. And so I was glad that we were able to get through our problems without just giving it, if that makes sense. Once we started to come on the up and up, I realized I was ready. And she didn't want me to either. She didn't want me to just give her what she wanted, because she wanted my heart to be in it. And that's what that's where it hurt. It was because my heart wasn't in it at the time. Once we were getting better, something overcame me and Clips and said, I'm ready. I'm ready now to start expanding our family more, because we both did want more kids. And she was starting to wonder if I was just telling her that. But ultimately, I don't know why I paused, but I do want more kids. So that's then when we posted our video to tell our story for the first time. That was over 3 years ago. We were in a good place then, but we wanted to share it with you all. We've grown a lot since then. And I know a lot of people right now are going through this. So once I got on board and we decided to start trying again, God had different plans. So over 3 years ago, we decided to start trying to expand our family. And we started realizing it real quick. After pregnancy test, after pregnancy test, after pregnancy test, and they all kept showing up not pregnant. And it was like all my fears were starting to happen. I waited too long. We decided to stop trying so hard. Just stop trying, right? Because that's what most anybody will tell anybody if they're trying to get pregnant and it's not happening as quickly as they thought. Just stop trying and then it'll happen. So that's what we did. We just quit worrying about it. We started focusing on animals. We started focusing on gardening. We obviously focusing on our children. We started focusing on our house, getting it to where we wanted it. We just stopped trying, but we still didn't get pregnant. On here, we posted a lot of infertility videos, stuff we've tried, stuff we haven't tried. And ever so often, I'll get in my feels and feel like it's, all my fault. And that's so selfish. I hate even saying that out loud. But, you sit here and you think about it, and you think about if I didn't first almost put us in divorce, and if I also just said, okay, would our family had expanded? And I know Jen doesn't feel this way. She owes no guilt towards me whatsoever in this situation. This is my own personal stupidness. But thank God, right? But God. You have relief in knowing that God has a plan, that God blessed you with 2 beautiful children. And if 2 beautiful children, which He wanted you to have, we're okay with 2 beautiful children. It's hard to not what if yourself, though. So we looked into a lot of things. We looked into adoptions. We looked into fostering. We looked into just all kinds of stuff. At this moment, we know everything there is to know about the situation because it's been a long time and we've tried a bunch of different stuff and we've talked to a bunch of different people. So we're good right now. Her and I will always be good because of what I'm getting at is like, that was our only rift in 10 years that we really had. That was like that extreme. Of course, there's stuff here and there that happened, but we always know because of that experience that every little tiff that may come up throughout the marriage is just a blimp on the radar. And we always choose our marriage and we will always choose our love over anything. It's funny, Jen and I, we don't argue. We've never, ever argued about money. And that's like the #1 key thing that seems to lead to divorce. Well, that and adultery. But we've never argued about money. And it's like, I'll look at it sometimes like, I'm just real proud of us that we always had just the same mindset in money. It was never ours, mine, me. It was always ours. When it was as little as it was, red, but we were red together. It wasn't she was red and I wasn't, or vice versa. And now, and right in the heart of career line, supporting me to quit my job, to really put the line on her with her business that she's created. We've just never had that. But there's always something, right? But as long as you in a marriage are choosing your marriage, you'll stop thinking about, well, what am I going to do if she divorces me? Or what am I going to do if he divorces me? Those thoughts never come up anymore. Your thoughts then are, well, what do we need to do to fix this? What can we do? I'm choosing us. I'm always going to choose us. What can we do to fix this situation? And so out of anything, the biggest encouragement that I want to give you is that it's a blimp on the radar, and whatever it is that you're going through, besides those extremes, it is a blimp on the radar, and as long as you choose each other, you'll get through it. It's a tough one. We're perfect, by the way. There is absolutely nothing that's wrong. We've had a rainy week. Like, it has rained all day, every day, the whole week. And when you have those kind of weeks, you start getting to your emotions a little bit more. While you're milking, you're sitting there thinking and stuff, bring up old memories and stuff. And, you know, it's just one of those things I want to talk about. It's always good to talk about it and get it off the chest and be like, all right, we're good to go. Let's get this out of here. Did you know, if you start typing Stivers Homestead just in a regular search on YouTube, like the top 3 thing it pops up is divorce. And it's not because of that one specific video. It's because I almost feel like people are trying to see if we're getting divorced, if we're going to go through divorce, because we're so happy. I think a lot of people question if we really are as good as we seem to be. And so people are just trying to get like a little dirt and stuff. I mean, we find it amusing. It's funny because nothing will ever break us. And I might be cocky in saying so, but I believe in us, and I know she believes in us. And when you can feel that from your partner, it is magical. So here's what I want you to do. In any level of your marriage, you're imperfect, you're newlyweds, you've been married forever, you're in the heart of it, kind of like Jen and I, we're at that 10-year mark, you know, kind of that 10 to 25 is, man, you're in it. This is marriage time. Your kids are going high school, out of high school, from babies to preteens, you know, you're in the mix of all this stuff with your children and with life, that you're on the hustle. So you have very experienced, you have in the middle, you have newlyweds, or even ones that are starting to think about getting married. Share this information with anyone. Have conversations about tough times now. Start making commitments to one another. Because when they come on you, if you haven't really discussed it, when you're not talking, your minds might be going separate ways. So you need to have these conversations now when you're in a good place, knowing when the bad times come, we're both on the same track. Because when you have rifts, it might be that you all just need a little alone time and then come back and discuss it, because you don't want to talk hot-headed. But in that alone time, you want both of your minds to be thinking about each other. You don't want your minds to be thinking about divorce, and the word should never even come up. So while you're in a good place, talk about how you're committed to each other. And how, honey, I know there's going to be times that are tough, but I know that I'm going to choose you every single time. I'm going to choose you, our marriage, every single time. And I want you to know that no matter what we face, we'll get through it, because it's a blimp on the radar. When you show that level of commitment outside of getting married, when you're solo, one-on-one together, that precious feeling that you feel from your spouse is unbelievable. Because then it's like all the like worries of any kind of relationship issue is out the window, is out the door. Trust builds, right? Even when you commit to getting married, you're still very fresh. And for Jen and I, it was very, very fresh. Obviously you trust, but it's those solidifying moments when they open up to you and they really express their love to you privately that makes that trust unbreakable. So don't just think that the commitment you made at marriage is enough. You need to be committing to your spouse all the time and telling them, making them know it from your heart that you'll never, ever be away. You'll always choose your spouse, your marriage, and your love, because nothing can break it unless you allow it to. Don't ever give up. I'm serious, you might feel like the love is gone, but it's because your mind is confusing you. Your mind is allowing you to go down this road and convince you of stuff that's not even true because you're in a bad moment. Don't let that overcome you and think that's forever. Wipe that brief moment out of your head and know that you married this person. If you married this person, you love them. I was saying that Flossie was doing her tongue thing today. It's so funny, the silhouette that they do. A lot of people asked in the last barn chat what she's doing. Flossie, you can't really tell because it's dark and you're all saying she's a Jersey. Jersey have really funny personality traits, and they're all a little bit different, kind of like us humans. Like, they don't have like one specific thing they do. They're each their own. She does this tongue thing. It's funny. She just swings it around. I have researched and done everything we can. I've talked to other Jersey owners, and it's literally just a personality trait. It's something she likes to do, and it's really funny. So she's not licking anything, but she's not doing it right now. So y'all, choose each other. Make sure that you're expressing that to one another. Learn from the experiences of people that are ahead of you, learn from our experience, learn from your parents, your grandparents, because everyone has gone through this. And if they're still together, man, perfect lesson learned. Ask them to, if they don't mind, to share that with you and how they got through it. Because that is when your marriage is truly going to be tested. That is when your loyalty and commitment that you said at your very happy wedding day is going to be tested. I have faith in you. I have faith in your marriage. And I know that you can get through it. I'm not even going to say the easy. Divorce is not the easy route. That's tougher than nails too, I'm sure. But let's just not have that on the table. Let's commit to one another and talk about it. So I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. It's, again, like I said, it's one of those personal ones that are tough to talk about, but it's a good reminder of what we went through. And it's good to feel that. That way you're always staying focused on the goal. If you're new around here, hit that subscribe button. We love y'all. Until the next one. Bye.